I need to help her with her self-esteem, that she can express herself. He didn't in any way disrespected me in that discussion. My daughter, when we were having a discussion, they dad, don't be stupid. My wife said, eh? And I tell my wife straight on, I said, she's not saying I'm stupid. She's telling me not to be. And I said, again, not to be. I do not. And I'm not saying that's how all the parents did, but I'm involved.
A lot of people, we come from homes where even just to sigh is disrespect.
True.
So that is all well and good, but that's not the question. You need to think about it from the perspective of someone who does not have a father or mother who is willing to change, or even not even willing, because before you can change, you have to think there's a problem. You have to think that you're doing something wrong. Where a lot of African parents, and I won't just say Nigerians, but I usually speak of Nigerians because I'm Nigerian. A lot of African parents, because one, the end satisfied the means, right? Or because of how they grew up and their understanding, they believe what they are doing is right. As you explained, your wife has a different perspective from you because of maybe she grew up, she stayed in Nigeria longer than you, right? So there's a lot of things that it's not really about disrespect of it. This is how she was taught. This is what was told her. This is what she believes, right? So as you get older, it gets harder to change, to be honest. And so I'm looking at somebody that's 60 years old trying to tell him that's not how things are done. That's not an easy conversation to have. So from a practical point of view, as a 22-year-old and up, 21-year-old and up, how do you set boundaries and effectively communicate?
Now, when you say set boundaries, is where I'm trying to find out when you say boundaries.
Okay.
Is that you see, it doesn't come from a place of, it's tough. I'm trying to see it.
Because she's been wanting, I'll let her answer, so maybe she will answer.
Yeah.
Thank you. Trust me, I don't have the perfect answer because I was just listening to Pastor Fatokun. We have different experiences. We have kids. My son will be 7 next Monday.
Hallelujah.
So he doesn't have this. I'm not yet there. But even at that, I see the differences. Now, as a parent, I have to unlearn because I have to unlearn. But I have parents. So I'm going to talk to you as a child that has parents, not as a parent that has a child, right? And I'll tell you one thing that is common. Your parents might be different from the Caucasian parent because of culture. My parents are different from my grandparents because of generation. So at the end of the day, every child faces this circle of your parents not understanding you. Right? So I want you to understand that it's beyond just African parents, Caucasian. Yes. So another thing is this. Times change. The role of a parent. When I'm Timila and GSC 45, I always look at him as my son. I went to the lab test today and I saw a woman walking and she said, you can send a text message to my son's phone. I was eager to see the son. And the son will be in his 60s. And in my mind, I'm like, this guy is old enough to father me plus extra, you know. But as far as that man is concerned, he will always be his mother's son. And the mother will always try to protect him. Now, as a person that has related with my parents, and I've had issues with parents, and is setting boundary and keep setting boundary. I'm sharing my own experience. I remember a day my father called me. I was married. He called me and said, We speak pidgin English. He said, sit down. That guy, is that who's the guy where you give me a number? The boy don't play me wayo. Why you go give me that kind of person number? I tell not to do this one. You don't do that one. He was shouting on me. I'm like, wait a minute. Daddy, hold on. Pause. He kept quiet. I'm like, first of all, when you did a transaction with Uzo, did you tell me? He said, no, but not true, yeah, no, Uzo. I'm like, okay, Daddy, the last I checked. I'm married. I'm in my husband's house. You're not paying my bills, so please don't shout on me. You want to talk to me? Respect. I was at that point that he realized I need to calm down. Now, the reason I'm saying this is, I teach teenagers. One day I told them, go home, have 1 minute, 1 hour conversation, a date with your parents, father or mother, one of them. Just have 1 hour in a week. Tell them I need a date with you 1 hour. And in that 1 hour, ask them to tell you about their childhood. You don't need to, just ask to know them. And the next Sunday when they came back, I heard different things. But at least I know that the conversation about parent-child relationship was better. One particular child told me, said, now I understand why my mom is always emphasizing do your homework, academics, she always wants to be there. And I asked what was the reason, what happened? She told me, she said, my mom said when she was growing up, her mom was never there, she was always busy, maybe doing business or the other. Nobody cared if her schoolwork was done, nobody cared about that, all of those things. But her mom was not detailed. And my mom feels that she could have done better if her mom was detailed. So because of that, I'm sure if I call her mom's name and you attend Rema Chapel, you understand that her mom is like that. Her mom is always on it. Have you done your homework? You need to bring it. In fact, the other day, I still called the mom to say, what book can I buy for my son? She recommended because I knew she would be the go-to person for that thing. Now, for that child, she said, before I thought she just liked stressing me. But having understanding where she's coming from, I now understand why it's important to her. Now, get this, like any relationship, it's not missionary journey. It's not your responsibility to change your parents. If they change, all well and good. But you can't change them. Change, the person determines change. So don't beat yourself or beat them for not changing. Number one. Number two, as parents, you know how as children, you want to keep showing that I'm now an adult. They need to keep seeing that you make the right decision consistently. When you make the right decision consistently, then your parents will start letting go. Also, as we grow up, our parents realize that we've grown. They might not tell you because they are the African parents. They might not come and tell you that, oh, I think you're right. But as you grow, they realize you've grown. My mother stays with me. Oh, let me rephrase it so she must love me. My mother is helping me with my baby. I had a baby 5-6 months ago, right? Now that she's in my house, it is my space. It is my marriage. It is not her home. Same with my mother-in-law. So sometimes when they want to step their boundary, because it's out of a place of love, I remind them, whether it's my mother or my mother-in-law, this is my space. When I come to your house, I will abide by your own rules. But in my house, please, this is my marriage, this is how we be. But I have to be respectful. No matter what you say to your parents, you have to be respectful. And the only way you be respectful is when you understand where they are coming from. It's like I see someone that is on drugs on the road, and he's drunk, and then I expect to have a reasonable conversation with the person. Why? Because I'm mindful of the fact that the person is on substance. I'm not saying our parents are on drugs, but you get what I mean. Why? We respected the person's situation. So when you're dealing with your parents, you want them to respect you. You want them to respect your opinion. You want them to respect the fact that my father sent me to school. Yes, the way, and I'm an accountant. Yet some things he would do, I'm like, come on, I'm an accountant, let me do this thing, but he would do it his own way, right? So just the way we want our parents to respect our opinion, we also need to respect where they are coming from and not just understand them, make excuses for them. And with time, over time, they will come to validate your own values and your own way over time.
Are you okay with that?
No, you didn't answer the question.
Okay, yeah, I think she mentioned that it was still a portion that I've not been answered. So maybe let me.
Your voice.
Not my voice. Okay, so maybe I should maybe I'll try. I'll try and be as much as. I'll try to be moderate without spilling out too much information. So especially as a 21, 22, now you're doing your own thing, you're working, you're making your money and all of that. I'll share my example. So for me, when I was 25 was when I told my parents that I wanted to get married. And at 25, I was good. I had a property, I was working, I was fine. I've been dating someone for about 5 years at that point, and I was ready. But then I realized that when I told my parents, it was like a shock, because I finished school, my master's in 2017, and in 2018 I got a property, and I was saying, I'm ready to go. And they're like, no. Right? So for me, okay, I mean, I can do without you really at this point. So at that point, it was a lot of back and forth, right? And even the reason why they were saying no did not make sense. Really, it was like, let your elder brother marry first. Okay, now look at that reaction, right? We're so African, right? Now I've been here, I know that doesn't make sense. Like, why? But they were saying this is what they wanted. I know the position of my dad in the family lineage. He's like the leader. And he's saying, no, this thing has never been done before, and it's not going to start with me. But I'm like, that's not my business. As your family lineage, my problem. I'm ready to marry, and I'm okay. So it was actually a fight. Now, I'm not proud of some of the things I did at that time, because some things I was going to realize as young adults is we sometimes don't see the future. So when we are making our decisions right now on things that we're doing and all of that, we don't realize that sometimes later on we might not be too proud of it. So when it comes to boundary, I was trying to actually set boundaries for my parents. I'm like, I can do this, and at some point in time my father didn't talk for 2 months. Because I was trying to set boundaries. At the end of the day, I still had to go back to beg. Because I had the value that I was not going to get married without my parents' blessings. So at that point, even though we had fought back and forth, I still had to go back to them, because I wasn't married. It was like their last duty to me to send me forth in marriage, right? Now, after I've gotten married, they know their place. Like Sister Tina said, they really know their place, right? For them, I feel like with parents, sometimes they see you grow up. Like my father made statements to me like, oh, I carried you when you were a child, and now you think you can just, you have outgrown me just like that. I said, there's nothing you can achieve that I've not achieved. So it was more of a, at that point, that was like their last duty to me, and they wanted to, it's a lot of wisdom. I will not even lie, honestly. Like, we fought, but I feel like when you say you want to set that boundary with them, you most times hurt yourself at the end of the day. When you're married, trust me, they will just let you know.
Things I think I can pick up if now. Oh yes, I want to pick up few things on what I learned from this business. Number one, when you start talking about setting boundaries, you need to understand the parents. Now when I say you need to understand them, you'll be with them forever. You know oh, this I will not take, that I will not take. But as Tatina said something, you must have proven yourself. Because you need to trust you. In a way, I don't know about parents, but most parents, in a way, are part of your life as confidence. You abuse them, they will. So don't come to my wedding, they will show you. Don't come to my house. But you see, because it's a long-lasting relationship, and she said something, the African culture, the Caucasian culture is very different. And it's easy to begin to say, well, the African culture sounds like true. There's some things you get wisdom as you live or you begin to learn. It's a matter of patience because if I go to learn new things, you will learn it. Well, how you communicate that, we tell them whether to learn to learn. As my wife evolved, she has evolved. As the things she used to do 5 years ago, what doesn't do now? I'm sorry, you have changed your what you do. You will say, okay, you do what you do. It's an African. But you see, patience, respect them. If parents want to be respected, I can do without you. Yeah. There's an adage I grew up with, there's no wealth of what you have in life. You can have so much, you can never have, they call it rags. And the rags is not just about clothes, it's about the wisdom and the pain they go through that they don't want you to go through. So they're trying to teach you. They can be very archaic. You know, when we're going to start in this church, if you want to church, I'll tell them, you too will come adult. In the next 10 years now, whatever I want to do, they will be calling it to deacon in the church. It has moved. Some of us here will migrate. The new generation will say, those people, it's a season life. You wait, oh, I'm at 20 something, I can't control, I can't change, 60-year-old man. One day you're going to be 60. And by the grace of God, you'll be happily married, you have kids. You're like, oh, God, now you have to learn now. How do I help them? Because the next generation will need your help. Do you need to be patient? Do you need to step back and see what they've gone through as they inform you the way they're acting? There's a lot of learning. When you get to this stage, now you can learn it. Learn them, study them. Why is my dad always think this way? You will need patience. You will need to give them benefit of doubt. They are looking out for you. You don't want to make life difficult. Or we can always talk now.
Alright, so just a quick one. I'm going to get some people ask, and I'll give both of you 1 minute to respond to them because we're out of time right now. Alright, so I'll just take 2 questions and I'll give you 1 minute each to respond to them.
Yeah, so my question is, how do you open yourself to new relationships or friendship? Right now, I'm talking specifically for platonic relationships. For me, I get hurt more from my friends more than relationships. How do you open yourself from after being hurt from friendships? Does that make sense?
My own question was concerning you're seeing how there are some friendships where they're like maybe they have seen that you have made it and you just want to attach to you. And I was wondering if that was a good thing or a bad thing. Let me explain. Because I've heard that people say that if you want to be wise, walk with wise. If you want to be rich, walk with rich. Because when you're close to them, you're able to like what are their systems, what are the things they are put in place. So is it a bad thing that you have people around you because you are made it?
Now, okay, what's the other this one will take me. Now, let's look at the one you asked now. They have I call them acquaintances. They're not friends. There's some people that came into my life when I got to certain levels. And the reason why I came to that is now becoming a transactional relationship. Because I want to learn from their business, the businessmen. I want to learn how to get it. So it's a lot of transactional. Is it wrong? It's not wrong. They will come. because that's something you need to learn. And that's why I said we have a common goal. Not necessarily common enemy, but common goal that we want to both improve in our wealth. So we engage. But they are not my confidence. They're just their acquaintances or people that come into my life at that point in time because I need something. I will not open up to them as if they're my confidence. But they must come because we have to learn. You have to work with the wise advice. If Dangote has a 1 year old and he's throwing a party, the people that will come for his 1 year old party are billionaires. They are not friends with our billionaires because they work in the same cycle. Bill Gates will say he was coming for that party because they will discuss things. And hence, it should happen. And there's nothing wrong with that. But you need to be careful. Who are they? And put them in the right category. Don't say that now you are body. If you don't have money anymore, you drop from that cycle. If you are working with a group of billionaires and you become a billionaire, you leave that cycle, you go high. You can't follow them. So it's good. It's a learning time, but put them in the right category.
Do you know one thing unique about Canada? I've lived in UK, so I know it's unique about Canada. When it's a system, tracks and information, Canada is its beds and how do you get that information? From people. In UK, you want to get a job, you go online, you see job they apply. In Canada, you go online, before they post it, you have submitted. When you're seeing it like there's nobody qualified to see, or they're just posting it for formality. I'm just giving you one example. People need questions. Doesn't mean you should close your heart. You know one thing about life, we make mistakes. Things happen. I make mistakes. I don't regret. I try not to regret anything in life. But what would be foolish of me or anybody is when things happen and you don't learn from it. You will learn. Those lessons will help you in the future. I made a friend. The person hurt me. What am I learning from it? How did I guard my heart? Did I expose myself too much? Is it I did not communicate about my boundaries? Is it that I was not on the same page with the person? Is it that we didn't have the same values? Why did this person hurt me? When I learn from it, then I'll make more friends and, learn from the lesson. It's like I don't tell people in relationship. The relationship ended, you thought it would lead to marriage or something. It's okay. It's not the end of the world. What are you going to learn from it? You might learn something about you, something about people, but learn something. When you learn something, then you'll be open to it, make more friends. And if you don't know, I dated a guy that is all shades wrong. Now when I was dating him, I know he was all shades wrong. But now looking back to it, his all shades wrong make me know that this is wrong. So anything that looks like this, it's something to learn from. That's just my point. Open your heart to people. Don't think more than you can choose. Sometimes you can choose. Guard your heart, but still open your heart.
Okay, so just a quick one was starting the games. So I know each and every one of us signed up for